Welcome to my next Lost. Season 2 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important. If you are caught up to the point where I am and rewatching or watching Lost, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you find that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And I've already watched Lost 3 times. The last couple times I binged it, and the show hasn't resonated with me. Even though it's one of my favorite shows of all time, I've only watched it 3 times. Every other show in my top 5, which Lost is in my top 5 as of this moment, I've watched at least 6 or 7 times. So figured I would rewatch Lost once again and do really solid detailed review videos of it, but I'm not the only one that's watching Lost. The legendary Crazy Coffee Man, who you see in my comment section for anything Lucifer related, anything Breaking Bad, anything Dexter or Dexter New Blood or Dexter Resurrection or Dexter or Original Sin, he's always in those comment sections, and he is watching Lost for the first time. No spoilers past this episode, but join us on the journey and let's discuss this awesome and amazing show. So with that said, this will be Lost, Season 2, Episode 7. The title of this episode is called The Other 48 Days, and this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. So the calm sound of beach waves are halted by the surge of the tail section wing plunging into the depths of the ocean on the island, along with some other stuff that's of the aircraft. Immediately afterwards, a seat from the aircraft spinning in the air flings towards the camera, blackening the screen, which I thought was really cool. And then we have day 1. After a few brief upside-down shots of the beach, we have Ana Lucia Cortez, who of course was seated in 42F, if you remember her conversation with Jack in Season 1 when they were at the bar for the flashback. She gasps for her breath after having swam out from under the ocean where she woke up. Then Ana Lucia looks out in front of her. It's a beach. An injured or dead body along with a person helping somebody else is there. 2 other people are swimming towards that same beach. She looks at her surroundings in the ocean and sees various fellow survivors with injuries who are swimming alongside her, some towards the shore. Among those seen are Cindy, the stewardess who went missing at the end of the previous episode, and a clean-shaven, black suit-wearing Mr. Echo. Ana Lucia then swims to the shore where the others are heading before going back to aid some of the other injured people still in the middle of the ocean. At one stage, Ana Lucia is aided by the husband of a passenger named Pam to help another passenger. Another woman, Libby, is seen wet on the beach, briefly looking out at the chaos in front of her in dismay. A young boy holding a teddy bear points out his sister floating in the water, identifying her by the name Emma. Mr. Echo pulls her out and Ana Lucia performs CPR on her, saving her life. Emma asks where her mother is because she and her brother Zach are meeting her in Los Angeles. Ana Lucia admits they're not here yet. Or they're not there yet. As she observes the tragedy in front of her, another man, Nathan, is briefly seen. After this, Mr. Echo tells Emma and Zach to stay with Cindy as he carries the other bodies out the ocean. One corpse he carries out is a man with gray hair and is floating face up, and it seems like that could be Christian Shepherd's body, who of course is Jack Shepherd. Now, we don't know for sure that's the case, but it kind of resembles him. Anyway, Ana Lucia is introduced to Libby while tending to the man who she has put his bone back into place. The man comes out of the bush, or I should say a man comes out of the bushes from a nearby jungle asking for help. He states that someone is alive there. Ana Lucia rushes forward to help, and that man in need of help is none other than Rose's husband, Bernard, who is still kind of belted into his seat. He was rushed to during turbulence. He is now stuck up in a tree next to a dead body. Ana Lucia persuades him to grab the tree branch just before the seat crashes to the ground. Now, back on the beach, Goodwin, who states he was in the Peace Corps, builds a signal fire so they can find us. A worried Bernard asks Mr. Echo if an African American woman was among the bodies he carried to the shore, referring to his wife, whom he can't find, and Mr. Echo tells him no, but he will pray for her and for their rescue. That night, a commotion is heard. Nathan stares in the direction of where Goodwin and Libby are sleeping. Amidst this, then Ana Lucia and Goodwin get up. Ana Lucia asks Libby to watch the kids. Echo kills two of the others with a rock when they try to take him. From that night on, he refuses to speak. A survivor who identifies himself as Nathan announces that from the previous night, 3 other people are missing and suggests staying on the beach. Ana Lucia protests Nathan's idea, stating that they have satellites as well as the black box. Flight attendant Cindy backs up Nathan by informing the group that the plane was going in the wrong direction for 2 hours, so rescuers won't be able to find them if they don't keep the signal fire burning. Then we go to day 3. Libby kneels to sit beside Ana Lucia as she searches for food through clothing. Libby informs her that Donald's leg, the person that she fixed up, is getting worse. He will be the 4th to go, and Ana Lucia asks Libby, what are we supposed to do about that? And Libby pauses and then does not respond. Instead, she just slowly leaps up and leaves. Ana Lucia is such a cold character. She's just so cold sometimes. It's crazy. She was so nice in the bar to Jack. But anyway, day 5, Ana Lucia, Libby, and Mr. Echo. 2 days later, Donald, the guy that Libby had fixed up, has died from the infection, and he is buried by Nathan and Goodwin. And then we have day 7. Libby is seen passing the cooked chicken around. She then sees Mr. Echo from a distance, sitting in solitude. Libby approaches Mr. Echo, offering him food, but he does not respond to her offer. She then reminds him he hasn't spoken in a week and still wants to know why, but Mr. Echo still does not respond, so Libby tells him, "It wasn't your fault, you know." And Mr. Echo then acknowledges her briefly, looking over at her, and then turning away in a state of guilt. He continues engraving his stick. Day 12, that's 5 days later, Ana Lucia sharpens her hunting stick for food. Goodwin tells her that'll work. She tells him that while out in the jungle sometime earlier, she believes she heard a pig or something, so they can perhaps have bacon tomorrow. Suddenly, Nathan comes out of the jungle. Ana Lucia asks where he was. He states he had to go to the bathroom, and she reminds him, "We have a system for that. We go in pairs." And Nathan responds, "Yeah, sorry." Ana Lucia gives a disapproving look to him and then walks away. That night, the others come back. One of the others is sleeping close by to Libby, but not Goodwin. This person gives a hand signal to attack, and then when this occurs, they take Nancy, Jim, Eli, and the 2 children, Zach and Emma, and at least one other person seen on screen. It is assumed that the second raid was the final one, and the total of 9 people described as taken after 2 weeks were all taken in this event, despite 9 people not being seen as taken on screen. That's kind of what they said. Ana Lucia wakes up, and then Libby wakes up immediately afterwards. Ana Lucia is shocked as Libby begins to yell, "The kids! They took the kids!" Ana Lucia marches at the kidnappers and yells, "Stop!" One of the attackers attempts to subdue Ana Lucia during the raid, but Ana Lucia gets the upper hand and subdues her instead. When Ana Lucia asks where they went, Libby is unable to point in a direction where the kidnapped were taken, so Ana Lucia tries to awaken her attacker to interrogate, but the attacker, who is struck in the head with a rock, is stated by Goodwin to be dead. After this, Ana Lucia frantically searches the woman's pockets, finding a vintage U.S. Army knife as well as a list. Libby looks at Nathan when Ana Lucia mentions a list, and then Ana Lucia explains that the list entitled descriptions of 9 who were taken, including what they were wearing and what they looked like. Later, Ana Lucia vented frustration at Mr. Echo's inability to speak when she spoke about how there is no sign of kids. Nathan tells her to calm down, which aggravates Ana Lucia even further. To explain the nature of that list, Nathan excuses this way by explaining that they could have gotten their names from the people that they took the first night. Ana Lucia retorts that nobody knew anyone's names the first night. Ana Lucia drills Nathan about being gone for 2 hours the previous day, day 11. He states he went to the bathroom yet again. Goodwin intervenes, stating that they're all scared and that they shouldn't get paranoid. Bernard agrees that the idea of them infiltrating the camp is crazy. Libby states that it doesn't matter who they are, that they need to leave the beach because that's where they know they are. But then Ana Lucia reminds Goodwin he said they needed to keep the signal fire burning. Goodwin then says, I think it's time we let it go out. The survivors then opt to head into the jungle. They make a camp near a source of fresh water and fruit trees. And then the 7 remaining members of the tail section make camp in the middle of the jungle near a river per Nathan's recommendation. Ana Lucia has reluctantly conceded to the idea, much to Libby's disappointment. 2 days since they made their new camp in the jungle, and Ana Lucia is shown digging a tiger pit. Libby approaches her, presenting a case of suspicion against Nathan as being the possible infiltrator of the camp. Ana Lucia states sarcastically, "Why do you think I'm digging the hole?" as Libby is silent. Day 19, 2 days later, Nathan and Bernard are gathering sticks to catch rabbits. Ana Lucia suddenly knocks Nathan unconscious and throws him into the pit. She interrogates him, believing he is one of those who took the children due to his unexplained absences and how nobody remembered seeing him on the plane. When asked where he came from, Nathan replies Canada. She begins starving him, demanding to know the location of the children. On the same first night, Nathan cautiously states that he was in the lavatory. Ana Lucia is still skeptical, asking for 2 hours. He then gives an alibi that the rest of his retreat weren't on the plane. He stayed an extra couple of days to sightsee. When she asks where they were, finally she shuts the pit entrance. Then we have day 23. Ana Lucia goes to interrogate Nathan again, but this time she notices that he has been secretly fed by someone with a banana. When nobody admits to it, Ana Lucia is left with the assumption it is Mr. Echo, who silently walks off in frustration when she asks him. Then she tells Goodwin she intends to start torturing Nathan the next day. She's worried about Ana Lucia since she's had Nathan down in the pit for 4 days. He wants to let Nathan go. She says she's going to cut Nathan's finger off tomorrow. That night, Nathan hears strange noises and a commotion at the top of the pit. When Goodwin appears, telling him to grab the rope, he warns Nathan of Ana Lucia's plan. When Nathan turns to leave after Goodwin points in the direction of where the beach is, Goodwin snaps his neck, killing Nathan. Day 24, Cindy wakes up Ana Lucia up to tell her that Nathan is gone. Ana Lucia is resting beside Goodwin, who looks at her romantically. Ana Lucia is unfazed by the look, suggesting they may be a couple. After Ana Lucia witnesses the emptiness of the pit, she tells her group that the others have found them and it's time to move. Day 26, Ana Lucia stops to observe the ocean ahead of where they are walking. She lets the others in her group overtake her. Goodwin, however, stops and he notices she is staying still, so he gently walks on as Ana Lucia observes him. Day 27, the survivors move again and find the bunker marked by the Dharma Initiative logo with an arrow in the center. Goodwin seems surprised to see it. Inside a box, they find a glass eye, a Bible, and a radio. Goodwin insists to go to higher ground to try to pick up a signal. Ana Lucia says she will go with him. Initially, Goodwin insists he stay there to set up the place as a shelter. Ana Lucia says they can do all that and that she and him can make it back in a couple hours. He silently complies, smiling. While they reach the top of the hill, Ana Lucia asks why he thinks they're doing this. Goodwin says, "Why do I think who's doing what?" Ana Lucia clarifies them, the others. Then she says, "Don't you ever wonder why they attack us?" Goodwin states that maybe they aren't attacking the camp. Ana Lucia sarcastically responds, "Yeah, they just drag us into the jungle every now and then. No real harm done." Goodwin smiles, saying, "Good point." Ana Lucia asks why he thinks they take some of them and not the others, and Goodwin states that they took the strongest and the biggest threats of the camp, and Ana Lucia says they didn't take you. Goodwin justifies this, saying, "Guess they changed their plan after 2 of them got killed. Want to take a break?" Ana Lucia says, "Yeah, good idea." They sit down to talk on the hillside. He asks for the knife to peel his apple, which she gives reluctantly. And then Ana Lucia explains the contents of the knife by pointing out the tank stamp. She asks to have it back, which Goodwin, gives it back to her reluctantly. And then Ana Lucia asks a question: how he saw Bernard. Goodwin says, "I heard him shouting from the beach." The answer is what she uses to incriminate Goodwin as another, revealing immediately her awareness he is another. She says, "You ran out of the jungle 10 minutes after the crash. You weren't even wet. You never even were even in the ocean because the tail wing landed in the water and his clothes were totally dry." Goodwin admits he killed Nathan. He also says that those taken were good people and that Nathan was not on the list because he was a bad person. Lastly, he states that the children are fine and they are in a better place now. This provokes Ana Lucia to initiate a fight, and the two fight for the army knife. They roll down a hill, and Ana Lucia impales Goodwin with a sharpened stick. And then Ana Lucia returns to the survivors and tells them, "We're safe here now," but does not reveal on screen that she killed Goodwin. Day 41, we have Bernard picking up Boone's transmission from the Beechcraft on the radio in response to Boone. And it's like, "We're the survivors of Crash Oceanic 815 with, we're the survivors of Flight 815. Before any further communications can take place, Ana Lucia turns off the radio, dismissing the transmission as another trick by the others. "They know our flight number because Goodwin knew our flight number," she argues. "This is our life now," she tells them. "Get used to it." Ana Lucia goes off by herself to cry, and then Mr. Echo, speaking for the first time since the night he was nearly abducted, tells her, "You're going to be okay." And she asks him why it took him 40 days to speak, and he asks her why it took her 40 days to cry. Day 45, Cindy and Libby find Jin washed up on the shore. After pulling him out of the water, they tie him up and blindfold him while they try to figure out who he is. Ana Lucia argues about whether or not he is safe. Jin breaks free and runs to the beach. At this point, the events show what happened in the previous episodes, but this time we discover Ana Lucia's face injury is because she insisted Mr. Echo do it as part of a ruse to figure out if the captured rafties are okay. Day 46, Jin is taken out of the tiger pit. Sarah looks frustrated at Michael, then looks over at Ana Lucia, and then nods. Bernard opens the door of the Arrow, and then Ana Lucia is knocked out, and Jin looks over at Michael to react. Ana Lucia walks into the Arrow. This review is taking way too long. Too many things happen in this episode. The group are taken by Oceanside. Mr. Echo looks over at Sawyer, who is injured. Sawyer collapses. He's carried away. Cindy looks over at something. Day 48, Cindy has presumably been kidnapped. The group are heard calling out her name repeatedly. A repeat of Libby saying, "Did they take her?" Whispers are heard everywhere frantically. Ana Lucia sees a figure in the bushes. She shouts. It cuts to Shannon having been hit with a bullet in the abdomen. Then reactions of the group. Michael says, "What was that?" And time jumps to a new moment where they see Saeed crying over Shannon's body, her apparent target. It cuts to Jin looking over at Michael, then Saeed looking vengeful as Ana Lucia simply stares, ending the episode. So very interesting episode, a lot of details here. I'm going to give the episode an 8.5 out of 10. I think Ana Lucia is a little bit cold of a character, but I guess you kind of have to be in this situation. She is the character of the episode, and the secondary character of the episode is going to be Goodwin, played by Brett Cullen, which is a pretty big actor to a degree in certain things. He's like a supporting actor in a lot of movies. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Lost and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please don't forget to Hulk smash the like button, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section and interact with me and the legendary Crazy Coffee Man. What would you rate the episode? Who would be your characters of the episode? We didn't get Jack or Kate in this episode either. That's 2 episodes in a row. Let me know your score down in the comment section. Remember, no spoilers past this episode as Crazy Coffee Man is watching the series for the first time. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDub TV.